Chapter 24 A Job Horse and His Drivers. In the past, I had been driven by human beings who knew how to drive. But now I was a job horse and I was rented out to people. Being good-tempered did me more harm than help as I was rented out more often. And to unapprised drivers as my groom felt I could be depended on. All sorts of people drove me. The spectrum of my experience and suffering widened as I met all kinds of ignorant human beings. There were drivers who held the rein too tightly and those who let it go too loose. Then there were careless ones who completely ignored the horse they were driving and did not learn anything from the creature's responses. I nearly escaped breaking my knees another time due to one such careless driver. I was driving a carriage in which a lady and her 2 children were seated. My driver whipped me thoughtlessly, perhaps out of habit, though I was going at a reasonable pace. The road had been mended recently and several loose stones lay on the road. My driver was busy chatting and cracking jokes with the lady and her children. He did not even consider my existence, I suppose. As he yapped about almost everything under the sun, he did not even consider looking at the road and driving on the smoother parts. As a consequence of his carelessness, I got a stone in one of my front feet. Any good driver would have instantly sensed some difference in my step, stopped and looked into the matter. But my ignorant driver went on chatting and laughing while the stone got more firmly fixed between my shoe and the front part of my foot. The stone pierced my foot and I might have stumbled and fallen. I went lame with the pain. When I had gone almost half a mile in that condition, the dumb-headed creature sensed that something was wrong. But all he could infer was that I was a lame horse. It was fortunate that a sensible farmer happened to pass by on a brown cob. He instantly realized there was a stone in my shoe. The benevolent soul intervened and soon examined my shoe. Then he drew out a stone pick from his pocket and picked the stone that was causing me so much pain. When he showed it to my driver, the fellow was neither grateful nor apologetic, proving that he was insensitive as he was ignorant. The farmer left warning him that my foot was much bruised and I ought to be driven gently for a while. Of course, his advice fell on deaf ears and my unfailing driver whipped the harness and I rode on. I was grateful that the stone had been removed, but there was still a lot of pain. But there was little I could do. This was what a job horse life was all about. When there is another type of drivers I would like to tell you about, and that is the steam engine type. These drivers are town folk who have never owned a horse and usually travel by train. They feel that a horse is just a smaller steam engine. Besides, they expect to get back the most of what they have paid for. They seldom think about the horse as a living creature. So a horse must gallop at a fast pace, whatever the condition of the road may be. And will they even think of getting off the carriage on a steep uphill so as to reduce the weight and make it trifle easy for the horses? Well, they have paid, haven't they? Why consider the comfort of a mute animal? Aren't horses meant to drag humans uphill anyway? So the steam engine type of drivers never think twice while using the whip on a horse's back. This method of driving tries us faster than any other style. After having been tormented by the driving of various kinds of drivers, I got a stroke of luck. One fine morning, I was inspected by 2 gentlemen. The taller man asked my hostler if I needed the crub. When my hostler said I had a very good mouth and did not need a crub. He removed it and put the rein in at the cheek. "Isn't an easy mouth more ideal for a long journey?" he asked me, patting my neck. Then he and his companion got into the gig I had been attached to. The tall man took the reins and turned me around very quietly. He gently drew the whip on my back and we set off. I was going at my finest pace. Well, finally I had a driver who knew how horses ought to be driven. It seemed as if the good old days were back again. The tall man grew fond of me, and after trying me out a number of times, he bought me from my master for his friend who wanted a good horse for riding. Thus that summer I was sold out to Mr. Barry. I set out of the livery stables, taking leave of my two companions, Peggy and Rory.